Good evening. Welcome to the first 7 p.m. Central edition of the Captain's Chat. We've been doing the show for a couple months now, and this is the first time that we've done it at night, which is a little different, but super fun. I'm super excited about it. Mike Klonowski's here, who is the secretary for the USQRA, the United States Quad Rugby Association. He's an awesome PT as well in Chicago, and also is the head coach for the Chicago Bears Wheelchair Rugby Club. So super excited to talk to him today. Thank you guys for joining. As always, check us out in the comments. And look at that. Night works better. Let's go. Let's do it. So yeah, we're super excited about this talk. Hopefully it'll be some fun. Grab a beer, sit down, enjoy some happy hour with us, and we'll have an awesome chat. Mike, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, good to see you. Yeah, cheers. Cheers, absolutely. So how's everything been going? You got your Cleveland garb on.
Oh yeah.
I came downstairs. We moved. Normally people are used to looking at me in the studio living room, but I came downstairs in the basement. We made a little makeshift studio down here. So is Kate?
Oh yeah.
Is that your sister?
That is my sister.
What up, Kate? And so I was like, hey guys, go get me a hat. And I didn't tell him to get my Cubs hat because I wouldn't ever like want to shove it in your face. Like, you know me, like I don't want to do that. Like that's just there's no need to do that. There's no need to shove a memory in your face. There's like, I wouldn't do that. Like what is this? Is that when we beat you in Game 7?
Yeah,
of the world's. I mean, technically,
that was our second 10th inning loss in the World Series in 20 years. It felt real good losing to. I mean, honestly, like I thought that the Cubbies were going to go all the way that year, and the fact that
I don't think your sister likes me.
I thought that my Indians didn't have a chance, and all of a sudden they were facing you guys in the World Series, and we were up 3-1, and we're like, oh, we got this locked up, and then sweet baby Jesus.
That's the thing too, is like people forget Cleveland was up 3-1.
Oh, I don't forget that.
I forgot that. If it makes it, there's any like consolation. Anyways, I'm not sorry.
You shouldn't be.
I'm not sorry.
Greatest Game 7 of all time, and Chris Cook can sit on that.
So, Game 7, 2016, Phoenix Heat. We're practicing, and it's Game 7, and Scott's like, you don't have to come if you don't want to come, but it was basically like him saying, like, your ass better be there. Like, you better be there. And I'm like, well, it's Game 7. And then, so it was pretty cool. So we're playing rugby during Game 7 of the World Series, and we have like on loudspeaker over the radio.
Oh, nice.
And so it's pretty cool. So I'm like, oh, this is going really well. Like the first couple of innings are going amazing. And from there, it's like, man, I don't know, and then all of a sudden you guys get closer and closer. And then with the rain delay, I'm like, I'm out. I'm gone. Yeah. And so I drive, and it's about 30 minutes from where we practice to my house in Gilbert, Arizona, when I was living there. And so I drive, I'm running, and I'm listening on the radio. It's like rain delay, rain delay, rain delay. I finally get home. And then I got to take a dump. So I'm like, no, like I'm not, like I'm gonna, I can't crap my pants during like the Game 7, or maybe I can, I don't know. But like, so I ended up getting home. I ended up taking care of business, and I'm just sitting on the couch. Kid you not. Didn't even pull my pants up watching the Cubs win the World Series. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I mean, if you're going to celebrate something like that, you better do pants off.
Exactly. What's up, Brazil? Hope you guys are doing well. Chris, how you doing, man?
Chris.
That dad life. That dad life.
Oh man.
Rocking and rolling.
I'll say nice things about you later, Chris. I'm gonna save that.
You know what though, Chris? I wish that my wife would let me buy a boat right after a baby. We just went out and had more babies. That's all we did. Anyways, this obviously doesn't work very well when it's nighttime. Like this is now. So you've been working through the pandemic,
yeah,
with what you do, and we haven't really had anyone on the show that's kind of been where I mean, maybe a few of the ABs, but for the most part, I know Katie Holloway had, Sharon did for a little bit as well, but I mean, you're in the thick of it. Like, what's that look like for you?
I mean, I would say that most parts of my life have stayed the same. Like from a personal standpoint, like I still get on the bus every day. I go to work, same time. I still see patients. I'm wearing a little bit more PPE than I used to.
Yeah.
I think that all the folks I work with go through different stages of being okay with this. And I think there's a genuine fear. I think it's legit. I think that you get intelligent people thinking about these sorts of things, and it makes them really, really nervous. And for me, it's never been terrifying. Like, and part of that is like, that's just my personality. I try not to get worked up about things I can't control. And my sister will laugh at that. But for serious, like at work, it's one of those things. I'm a different person at work. And anyone who's worked with me and seen me on the court, those are two different folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to be a nice person at work. I think I'm a nice person. I've worked pediatrics for 10 years, and now I do wheelchair evaluations. So I can be nice. But in general, I think all of us have been coping in a different way. There's a unit in the hospital that's, she gets it. There's a unit in the hospital that's for post-COVID. And those folks are like gowned up all day, just sweating through their clothes, doing their best to help people out. And I get it. Like it is really hard doing what they're doing. And I'm a bit removed from that because I don't have to be in the trenches and inpatient sweating my face off. So kudos to all those people. Kudos to Martha Smith, who's managing the coach floor. You obviously know Martha from our team.
Yes.
And, so it's been interesting. Everyone's different.
No kidding. That's a unique perspective for sure. But with that perspective too, just like, being an able-bodied in kind of the crippled world with wheelchair rugby, and like, how did that transition from, working in pediatrics as a PT to getting involved in wheelchair rugby, and like what drew you to the sport?
Well, you guys got your claws in me early. It was at Ohio University where my professor, actually, I don't know if you know Petra Williams. She's the one of the head classifiers.
Okay.
And she was working on a project with me. We had a group that was working with a quad down in Columbus, and he actually played for the Ohio Buckeye Blitz. They said, come to our pay-to-play tournament, and we did that, and it was really exciting. And it was just like one of those things, like once you get in the chair, it's like there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, we're going to throw you guys a tournament. We're going to raise money for you guys.
Yeah.
They're like, how much does a chair cost? $5,000 to $6,000. We can get you one chair. And and so like I was talking to Brett, who is on and off with the team right now. I mean, he's got a family, he's got a job, he's got things to do. But he's like, you should help out the sport more. And I'm like, well, I'm moving to Chicago. Like, I love Ohio, but I got to go. And so I got to Chicago for 2 years, and some wonderful folks on the team, and Kara, was one of the folks volunteering with the team, was really supportive in getting me out there to practices. And then the organization was nice enough to
We got you, Martha.
absolutely. The organization was nice enough to let me use a vehicle to pick up players and go to practice. And so that's how I got going with these guys. And, you know, there's been some great moments. There's been bumps in the roads, but I hope by the time it's all over that I'll have a positive impact on the program and the people that I've been coaching.
Oh gosh, you already have, Mike. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Kind of from your unique perspective, and I'm curious to hear what you think, but the sport's always been first and foremost, I think, a rehabilitative instrument. Like it's you know, I talked to like Lee Fredette a couple of guests ago, and he's just like, wheelchair rugby saved my life. Like it's just and even though like he's been ultra successful in the sport and one of the best low pointers in the game, and he's like, that's great, but the rehabilitative side was far more you know, just needed for me. And I think that like rings true with a lot of wheelchair rugby players. What's your perspective on that? Like how important is that in your eyes coming from where you come from?
I think it's huge. Like Lee said it better than I could. I think the sport saves lives every day. And, you know, whether it's being able to compete again, to be able to compete at a high level like you do, Joe, or just, you know, doing rec stuff, but knowing that there's a community, that there are people around you that are going through similar things. And some folks really have it figured out. Some people don't. And I wish more and more people would find the sport. And sometimes it's not their jam, but I wish they would come out and just it's okay.
And that's like, that is such a good point where, and Scott and a lot of these players that have been around for a long time, Gumby's the same way. Like, they know the hospitals, they know how to get out to the hospitals and see people, and whether it's they're in rehab or whether it's they're in a, you know, an acute setting still, but like they go out there and talk to them. And that's one of the biggest things that people talk about is like, hey, come out to this for the sport, but you don't have to like be this big bad wheelchair rugby player. Like you can just use the sport to gain confidence or gain like social skills or gain independent skills or whatever it would be. And so rugby doesn't necessarily have to be your passion, but it can be like a vehicle for you to get to where your passion or your purpose is.
Yeah. And like I see folks that have been in the sport for a while and all of a sudden a spark lights up and they just realize what it's done and they realize how much they love it. And sometimes you have to get past the angry part. Sometimes you have to get past the sad part. But just knowing that you have brothers and sisters out there that are just all in, like, and it's, you know, it's every Sunday, it's every Wednesday. This is what we do together, and we work on something together as a team. And it's beautiful to see it when it all comes together. I think like what you guys did out in Phoenix, like with Scott and the folks that you guys have positively affected. I mean, I look at Corey. Corey was a phenomenal athlete, lots of function. And I think you guys really helped turn him into an even better player. And I think that probably did some things for him personally too.
Yeah.
Another example is Jim Roberts. Jim Roberts was a little rough, and now he is an elite stud around the world. And he's the reason their program is so.
Yeah, we probably made him a little too good. So.
Yeah, probably.
Good. Kelly makes a good point. Like, don't stop inviting him. Yeah, absolutely. You never know when people are ready. That's 100% correct. I remember, so my first like initiation into rugby was up in Minnesota. I came to a practice. I was ginormous. I didn't think I was going to get in a chair, but like it was being around a group of people that just kind of like accepted me, which I don't think, we're coming up on 30 years of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I think on Sunday is the 30-year anniversary. And to have like a tribe of people that will accept you, but also like tell you, hey buddy, your wheelie bars and your little seatbelt and whatever else you like, stop doing that because that's pathetic. And like that, but that was a slap in the face that I needed. Like, I'm like, you know what? No one else has this. That guy's got way less function than me. And like, he can do, like, and I remember Rieger was talking about it the last interview, and he's talking about Eddie Crouch. And I remember watching Eddie Crouch in a Heartland tournament, like make his own oatmeal. And I'm like, I am so pathetic. Like, get your act, like, you go in and talk in the mirror, get your act together, Joe. You like, come on, man. But like seeing that, and it's such a good thing to have. But then it's also like from your perspective, I think it's so important for, the ABs in our world, and making sure that we show you gratitude, because it's just, you guys do so much for us. Absolutely.
I don't think there's a person that is an AB in this sport world that doesn't absolutely love it. If they didn't love it, they wouldn't be around. And it's not a small commitment. And it's something that, I mean, I've had moments where I'm just like, gosh, this is really hard. This is frustrating. And I can't achieve what I want to achieve. I'm used to depending on myself. I'm not used to team sports. And so it's like, I run, I swim, I do those things. And all of a sudden it's just like, I've got to sit back, take a breath, listen more, and find out ways of getting people to work together. And going back to what you were talking about, like, coming out to practice that first time and get rid of your wheelie bars and seatbelt. Those are things that can only be said by a fellow quad. It's like, I can't go in there and be that guy who's like, dude, Jeremy's the best. Thanks, sunshine. I can't go in there and do those things. It's about the community that does that. And like, I can joke and stuff. I can be like, as you said the other day, in the circle, but it really is its own animal. It is something that I support, but it comes down to the troops in the trenches talking, having those late night talks and be like, get it together, man.
Right.
You can do this.
I don't like that I'm showing a bunch of boxes in the corner. Come on, this is supposed to be clean studio. Anyway, it's a basement room. It's not a studio. Anyway, so we're gonna pivot a little bit. There's another question I wanted to add. Oh, I want to ask you this question really quick before we pivot. Did it take you getting in a chair and pushing against some people to realize like what it took to play this game? Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. Dan Sauber, one of the best 1-5s in the last, 10, 15 years, playing in a high point chair, pretty much putting the Bears on his shoulders.
He was like a hidden gem. He was a Heartland legend, but like a hidden gem. He talked a lot of crap too. Great. You barely even hear him. You're like, Dan, what are you saying? Oh, you're talking shit. Okay. He's talking crap about me. Great. All right, Dan.
What? I adore Dan, and Dan made me get in a chair, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I was excited about getting in a chair because I like the game. I like playing it. And there were a few humbling moments. I was hitting Dan behind the axle a few times, and I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. And he's like, stop doing that. And I'm like, I don't see why I should. And I think it was after like I miss you, Mom. We miss having you out there. Like after the 4th or 5th time. I mean, it was something like egregious. Like, there's no way that anyone should have been that patient with me.
Yeah.
And I was pushing towards the goal line. It was like one of the last goals of practice. And he just spun the living bejesus out of me. And I wasn't belted in or anything because I'm like, I'm an AB. I don't need that. And seriously went flying like 10 yards. And it made me respect a little bit more. And as things went on and I played with more people, it just built on that. But it's about respect. Thanks, Chris. No, and you're a little reachy, by the way.
All right, let's pivot. So we've got a fun game to play.
All right.
You got your Cleveland hat on, your Cleveland shirt.
I do.
I showed you, like right off the bat, a great Cleveland clip of Cleveland sports.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Chris Bryant to Anthony Rizzo.
By the way, Rizzo is one of the finest human beings ever.
He's not real. He's like, him and his wife just do everything for people with cancer and in the city. And it's just like, come on. Yeah.
It's unreal. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, Frenchie. Reaching's not a foul. Reaching's not a foul. Yeah. Who else is in the family? Is there going to be a dog shouting you out too?
You know what? He's not as good with the technology.
All right, so we're going to play a little true and false here, okay? We've got some Cleveland trivia coming up. Cleveland, he doesn't have Facebook, so he is bogarting my screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's watching. Let's be honest. Getting him to sit still for that long is key.
It's getting out of control, okay? Stop reaching. Everyone that reaches, though, thinks that they reach really well. Like how many times do you see anyone go to the penalty box and go, "Nah, you know what? You got me there. It was just a bad reach." No one does that. No one does that. Yep. Hey, Cookie, you ready for it? We got a little Cleveland sports coming. We're actually going to do some Cleveland trivia. This is not sports yet. Okay. We're going to get you warmed up here. Get you well lubricated. True or false? The first shopping mall opened in Cleveland.
True.
That is true. That is true. Okay, question number 2. We got 10 questions. Question number 2. True or false? Cleveland is the birthplace of Spider-Man.
No, that would be Superman.
That is correct. It is Superman. That's a bonus. You get 3 points. All right. Question number 3. Which ball was invented in Cleveland?
Ooh. Damn. And I should know this. And my dad is probably like yelling at the screen right now because he pretty much knows everything Cleveland.
By the way, Mason, I love you, but Crystal, you are exactly right. Mate, stop reaching. He's probably reaching. He's reaching for some fries right now. Stop it.
I don't know. What kind of ball was created in Cleveland?
The modern golf ball. Modern golf ball. That was not a trick question. Gosh. All right, moving right along. Question number 4. Okay. So, in 1879, the invention of the electric street light to full body scanner and X-ray machine was all invented in Cleveland.
True.
That is absolutely true. I mean, I can't make that up. There's no way. There's no way. Okay. Question number 5. Why? This isn't a true or false, but this question. Why is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, of all places? Why is that?
Because the phrase was coined in Cleveland on the radio.
It was coined in Cleveland. It was on the radio. Do you know the guy's name? He's a radio DJ for WJW Cleveland back in the 1950s. Do not disappoint your family. They are all watching. Your dad's currently bogarting a screen. Do not disappoint him.
He knows the answer. I actually don't know who the guy is. I apologize.
First name Alan. Last name Fareed. I think your sister's Googling things right now.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Actually, that's my dad. He is a freaking encyclopedia. The man knows so much stuff. Half of it useful.
Okay. Question number 6. I want you to give me three celebrities and that does not include LeBron James. He's from Akron anyway. So 3 celebrities that were born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland.
Halle Berry.
Yes.
Drew Carey. And
yes,
third one.
Comedian that went to a bunch of bases, military bases.
Oh, are we talking about Bob Hope?
We're talking about Bob Hope.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about Bob Hope. Yes. Cookie thinks the Hall of Fame should be in the Rock and Roll. San Francisco, come on.
No.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Okay. True or false? Planes, trains, and automobiles was shot in Cleveland.
False.
That is actually true. That is actually true. They have, well, hold on. Famous Cleveland landmarks, yes, and trains, planes, and automobiles. Actually, that is true. Yeah.
Okay.
The Avengers.
Yeah.
A Christmas Story.
Absolutely.
Men in Black. Yeah.
Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black. Men in Black. Yeah. Question number 8. We're moving right along here. And was Cleveland actually a typo?
Yes.
Yes. And what was his name?
Moses Cleveland with EA.
And so they dropped the A.
They did.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm doing okay.
This is a very angry show at night. People are angry. It's only like 4 o'clock. Come on. People are so angry. Cleveland. Question number 9. Which river runs through?
Oh, come on. The Cuyahoga.
And then number 10 is, what is Cleveland internationally recognized for? It's not
awesome.
It's not the sports. Let me tell you.
There was a little blip in 2016.
There was.
Died. Everyone was happy. Internationally, what are we known for?
Yep.
Oh man. Geez. I mean, other than our river catching on fire, that was embarrassing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the answer is their orchestra.
Oh, the Cleveland Orchestra, best in the world. Actually, want to hear something cool?
I don't know if this is going to be cool. My
sister sings for the Cleveland Orchestra chorus. Like
that's pretty cool. A
phenomenal body of artists that come together and make some beautiful sounds. So they're amazing. Not that I've actually gone to see it in person because that would be Chris.
Just he is. Yep, he's on fire. Okay, so. Gosh, all right, I'm going to save this for later. Okay, we're going to move back into our questions because we got to answer some good questions here. Yeah. All right. What goals do you have for the Chicago Bears Wheelchair Rugby team?
I think the easy answer is to be a better team, to be a consistent team, to be a team that gets to nationals every year, and I think we've got the base for that. It's if their coach decides to step it up a little bit and raise the challenges and expectations and supports in a better way. So I'm going to work my tail off this year to take this reload time and get these guys and gals better.
Absolutely. What do you think the most important aspect is for coaching? Specifically wheelchair rugby.
I think it's being able to relate to your players, to motivate them, to challenge them, and find out what makes them tick. Yeah. I know what makes me tick, but I think that the hardest thing for me is really been to find what gets every single James that was rough. let's be honest. Kevin Hamilton is a great part of our success, but we have some of the best low pointers.
Hammy time.
Some of the best low pointers in the league right now, at least in the heartland.
Luis
is a hell of an inbound.
All right, what's up with Catherine? Is she
She's coming back.
Okay.
Shoulder's getting better.
Good.
I don't know how much she's going to be pushing right away. Another guy I'd like to throw on the radar is Kevin Moore, real smart 0.5.
Yes.
He's excellent. And you put Catherine and Moore out there and Luis out there with Hamilton, and you got yourself a decent squad. And you've got different guys coming in to fill in roles. You know, whether it's Joe and Josh and all those guys. You know, everyone knows that when they get out there, this is their time to shine. You know, whether it's 2 quarters or whether it's 2 minutes. I know if I put Ricky in there, he is going to F some people up, and that's why.
That's very true. That's 100% true. Okay, so you've seen the sport grow and evolve. I mean, you've been around it for a little while now.
Yeah.
What are your top takeaways from what you've seen? How have you seen it grow? How have you seen it evolve? What's next for wheelchair rugby?
I think a lot of people, and reasonably so, get really nervous about function and just, you know, people with amputations or different diagnoses that come into the sport, and all these individuals with spinal cord injuries are like, dude, do not take this away from us. And part of me is like, I totally get that. But at the same time, quads aren't going anywhere, and they're the reason why teams are successful.
Yep.
You cannot do anything without amazing, smart low pointers or mid pointers, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that. And,
you know, I think one thing you said to us during a clinic is the game doesn't have to be this fast. It slows down. You can be smart. You can make good decisions. And it doesn't matter how much function you've got behind you, as long as your people leading the way know exactly what they're doing and that they're transitioning fast.
He does. I don't even want to know the story on that one. I don't. So tell me what a coach is doing when this is the look on his face. So either you're eating your Gatorade bottle, or Ricky just took off his jersey and started streaking across the court. Like, what is that look? What are you thinking?
So there's a look of calm there, which means we're not playing.
Okay.
I'm watching a different team play. I was actually scouting another squad that was at our home tournament a few years back. But you know, that's the best part of this game, is that no matter what, you're going to learn something from watching someone else, and you're going to figure something out that you couldn't figure out by your own lonely brain. So
yeah,
that's what's going on there. I'm trying to be smart.
Well, hey, so moving kind of over to like maybe a broader spectrum with USAWR, you're able to have the opportunity to go to USAWR tryouts on the selection committee, and so you saw a little bit of like what we do as far as culture goes. I know tryouts are a little bit different than your average like training camp, but what was your take from seeing it at tryouts and being able to kind of witness it rather than just hearsay or thinking about what it might be or whatever it is? But like, what were your takeaways?
So, I mean, the story always goes that that US Wheelchair Rugby, you know, picks favorites, that there's guys that get the spot not because they deserve it, but because they know someone, or, you know, some other reason. And I found that either being in the back room or like discussing players or by watching players on the court, there's two things. There's one, such a fine line between who makes it and who doesn't, that it's ridiculous. Like everyone who is playing is deserving of being out there.
Yeah.
And they're exceptional individuals. As competitors and as human beings, they are a step above. I'm jealous of the mentality that a lot of these guys and gals have. But the other part is that it's hard making those decisions. It's real hard, like sitting there in that back room, and you know that once you make a decision, you're going to sit down with that athlete a few minutes later and tell them that the work they've put in for the last 4 years maybe just wasn't enough yet, and that they're going to have to try again. And that's devastating. Like I've been cut. It was middle school baseball. Like this is, and there's other things I've been cut from, but like this is like so many people have gone in there with the biggest dreams and just gotten kicked square in the junk. And it's amazing that those folks are putting in all that time and then they come back the next year and do it again. And the resilience is phenomenal. So I got a lot from that, and the relationship that every single athlete has with another athlete out there. You know, I mean, everyone's shooting for that spot and they know who they're going against to get that spot.
Yeah.
But everyone is still working together to make that the best squad throughout the tryout even. And like, you need to look at this, you need to look at that. I mean, a Kevin Hamilton moment, he was looking okay for his first few days at tryouts, and then he got sick, and then he must have been internalizing something you guys told him while he was puking his guts out, because he came back and just was a completely different athlete. And to see that happen within 4 days, there's no way you're going to experience those 4 days and not be a better athlete or person.
Yeah. Chris, I mean, you said it best. And like, there's been quite a few people we've had on the show that have chased that spot for a long time. And it has to mean, it has to be something that you want to do. Like if you're chasing that and you think that, if you're chasing it for the wrong reasons, like it's never going to be what you think it's going to be, you know, like making Team USA isn't going to be like, you know, change it changes it. Like it's great, but like, it's not like the end all. And I think, but at the same time, like if you want it, like there's examples out there of people chasing it, like Regier chasing Eddie Crouch for a long time, Jeff Butler getting cut like 5-6 times before he made the squad, and now he's one of the best point fives in the world. Like that, like over and over again, there's a lot of twos like that. I've been cut 2 to 3 times. Like it just it takes, and what Chris was saying, like what you do after does matter. Do you like are your goals matched up with your behaviors? And if they're not, then I mean the only one that you're blaming is yourself. I think it's pretty easy to point fingers and go, well, it's selection committee, or well, it's this coach doesn't like me, or well, it's like they don't know what I have, or you know, whatever it could be. So I don't know, like it's definitely something that what you do afterwards absolutely does matter. So I appreciate that, Chris. What did it teach you? Like what did that experience on the selection committee and being there just kind of teach you a little bit about the sport?
I think from a personal standpoint, it taught me how far I have to go to be able to facilitate any success at that level. I look at the conversations that Sue and Rudy and Gumby were having, and I mean, even Will, as the player advocate, these are brilliant people and they're doing amazing things. And I have to do so much more to be better. And I think that sometimes, you know, you come away from a moment like that, just like what you're talking about. It's like, what do you do with it afterwards? And I think I floundered for a bit after that. I lost focus. It was hard for me to figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and this is my brown nosing moment of the evening. Coach Gumby has been doing some reach out to coaches in the league, and
Yeah.
It's revitalized me as a coach. It's given me purpose. It's given me tools, and I hope to be better. What it taught me from like just a watcher is that there is so much that people don't realize is different between certain tiers within the sport. And it's not to say that blah 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 team isn't working their tails off and that those athletes aren't doing it.
Right.
It tells me that the journey is a lot longer than many people realize, and that they need to start now, and they need to find out and pick brains of people like you, Joe, who are willing to talk to any athlete.
Yes, please. Yes, like that is one of the main reasons why we're doing this show, this Captain's Chat. Like, this community needs to come together. Like, there's not like, there's got to be competition, like, and that's okay. Like, competition's okay. But please reach out, please. Like, I've done clinics for you 2 or 3 times, and
only concussed me once.
I mean, well, you gotta spin a person on their head every once in a while. No, but like, I think that's an easier way to get through it, is like that, like, let's teach and learn and grow together. But absolutely. Kind of jumping or piggybacking on that question for you is, what can the community do better? What do you think that we're not doing a very good job of right now?
Well, I think there's a little bit of what you were talking about right there. There's the micro view, and then there's macro. I think from the small itty bitty things is that we need to make sure that mentors are reaching out to people who are lost and need guidance and need a path. I think it's way too easy to get lost and frustrated. I see teams across the heartland, and I know that there are teams on the East Coast that are developing. And unless you know what that next step is, it's really hard. But it's about taking those moments and not being afraid to reach out to the Kerry Morgans or the Chuck Meltons and folks that are more than willing to step out of their competitive nature and sit down and just talk to you about things. I think from a macro standpoint, the league just needs to get its freaking pom-poms on and its little skirts and get pumping this sport out there. Whether it's a little thing like doing a demonstration at Abilities Expo. We do that every year, and I think we have an impact. But what I'd rather see, and I talked about this with Gumby the other night, is that it's about making the world understand how cool of a sport this is. And sometimes you have to drag them by their noses and pull them over to the court and say, this is what we do. And I think a really great idea is more public competitions, like what you guys did in Australia. Like, people come out and see it in person, and they're like, oh my God. And seeing the best of the best, there's no way they can walk away from that and they're not telling 10 people on the way back on the train. It really is about, my mom definitely has the pom-poms and a bell. But it really is all collaborating and realizing we're on the same team. And I think that, and I talked to Gary Pate about this, and Judge is the guy who keeps me in line and reminds me. He's his he's the little whisper in my ear saying that you could do better. And you can't listen to the man and not try and do better. And it was right around 2016. And it's like, I was just stepping into the role, and it's like, dude, why are we not beating the crap out of Johnsonville Brats and their cornhole games? Like, we need to together really get our voice heard, especially before Tokyo. And as we get to LA, like, we need to be talking amongst ourselves and dreaming big.
Yeah. No, I love all of that. You can find more about, obviously, wheelchair rugby in the United States at USQRA.org, where Mike volunteers as a secretary for the organization. And thank you very much for that. It's kind of a thankless job. But thank you for being a part of that. Do you think that the USQRA can help as an organization to foster that growth? And I think the other question that is probably the big question that people ask a lot of. They ask about, like, why is the USAWR side of things in USQRA? Why is there a bridge there? Why does there need to be a bridge there? Why is there a gap? What's your thoughts on the relationship, and how can we foster that growth as an organization?
Yeah. So I think something that we've worked on as a board together is centralizing what we do and making sure that people know that we are a resource to every single team and that we are going to support them.
Yeah.
So what I'll tell you, and this isn't like hugely public knowledge, we've talked about this for years, but there is a new website coming, and it's not like in 3 years we're going to do this. No, this is exactly what we were talking about. We had the old website, we did a transitional website for 2 years, and now we're working with Sports Engine to create a website that will support all of the teams, that will make sure that information is correct, that teams will have a voice and be able to advertise for themselves better. All in one spot, instead of these fragmented little Facebook groups. Here is the USQRA. This is where you go for rugby. This is where you get started. We're going to guide you. We're going to support you. And I think with things like that are huge. The website will be coming out in the next few months. I think that the relationship between USQRA and USAWR is USA huge. I think that what started off as a bump in the road in the relationship between USA Wheelchair Rugby, Lakeshore, and USQRA early on during my time with the board. I mean, people like Beth Curry and Mandy have come along and made sure that we're really collaborating more. Whether it's making sure our schedules are not interfering with each other, or introducing safe sport to the league, which has been something that USA has worked really hard on introducing. So it's great. I love talking with Mandy. I love her ideas and her passion and everything she does for the sport. And, how do you not get energized by what she's talking about? And
exactly. No, exactly. And I think a couple things come to mind there too, is with growth is, number one, like, social media drives everything. Yeah. Like, if you want your sport to be out there, social media has to be present. And like, so that means that players and athlete and equipment managers and coaches and fans all need to continue to vomit that stuff out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else is out there. I don't know. But like, yeah. The other thing that I think is interesting that we haven't gone to yet, which I would love to go to, is a name change. I think changing to wheelchair rugby is vital for visibility, because quad rugby is like, what is that? Why is that? Why is it different? Has that been talked about?
So I'll give you my political answer, and then I'll give you my.
We are not on the show for political answers. We're running out of time. I've got a trivia game to play with you. Like this, there's no time for political correctness.
There is no reason to not rename the league. I think that it's something that it's kind of a heritage thing that people don't want to let go, that they think that they're giving over to function, that this is the last bastion of quads in this sport, and that if we give it up, then we're giving up our history and everything that's important to us, and we're just handing it over to amps and all the function that's out there. It is wheelchair rugby. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what the rest of the world calls it, and I think we need to jump on that. We need the membership to get on board with this, and I think that it's something that we really need to make a conversation over the next year. It is not hard to do what we need to do. Like, we'll take care of the logistics, but it's about the membership being okay with the modernization of our league and joining the rest of the world. And for all the folks I've offended, I'm super, super sorry. It was.
Who'd you have on your team this year?
That's true.
Okay.
How's Matt Lewis doing these days? But I think, dude, Chris knows this, that you can have a combination of these two worlds, and it is a very exciting sport to watch.
You can, and that's going to put butts in seats. Absolutely. Hopefully we can talk more on that later. But first of all, before we end this, thank you so much for being on. It's been fun. It's been fun to do at night. So, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, whether you're watching now or later, if you've enjoyed it at night. Everything evolves, Jeremy says, and change is inevitable. Progress is a choice. I'll leave it with that. So Cleveland Indians trivia.
Yes.
Okay, we will end it with where we began, except we'll give Cleveland Indians their due. Yeah. Okay.
The best team ever was.
Here's the trivia question. What names did the Cleveland Indians go by before they became the Cleveland Indians?
I know at one point they were the Spiders.
That is absolutely false.
They were the Spiders. I guarantee it.
I mean, I'm on sportstrivianut.com. You want to argue with those guys? Do you want to argue with them? You can.
We were the GD Spiders. We've been talking about this all week. I don't know what our other name was.
In 1902, they were the Cleveland Bluebirds.
Oh, geez. That's
in 1902 to 1904, they were Cleveland Broncos, Buckham Broncos.
That's terrible.
In 1905 to 1914, literally the best sports name ever, they were the Cleveland Naps. They were the Naps. The Cleveland Naps.
God. So we went right for racism after that?
And then they went to the Indians. They're like, you know what? We're done sleeping. We're going to be the Indians. We're just going to start doing racist chants. This is terrible. Moving on. Next question. Two of them have hit a grand slam on the first major league pitch they faced. Name those players.
God.
One of them I think you should know.
Yeah. I'm caught between two players. I want to say...
Is he BSing me right now? I don't know if he is.
There we go. I love that. I want to say Richie Sexton. Maybe Brian Giles.
That was a great baseball name, by the way, Richie Sexton.
Yeah,
great baseball name.
Sexy.
I'm gonna end this one for you because you're not getting it. So Kevin Kuzminoff,
no way.
Back in 2006, September 2nd. And the second person was Red Sox. So the Major League was Daniel Nava.
Yeah,
So,
I was not.
anyways, what Major League Baseball player went by the nickname the Scooter? This you should know this. You should know this.
Was he a catcher?
Shortstop.
Oh, I mean,
I am so sorry, sports trivia nut. I am going to email those guys. Absolutely.
Phil
Rizzuto.
No,
Rizzuto.
There's no way I was going to get that either. Yeah. Anything before like 1983.
Okay, how about the Cleveland Indians World Series opponent in 1948?
Oh God, I know 52 was the Giants. We were swept. 48 was. I want to say Yanks or Dodgers.
It was Boston, but it wasn't the Red Sox. It was the Boston Braves.
Oh.
All right.
I can just hear Chris grumbling right now.
I know.
It's like know something.
And I am on it. I will not sleep until I contact the sports trivia nut. These guys, I can't. You know what? We're done with sports trivia because they're telling a bunch of lies, anyways. So, I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's I just want to thank you for being on. Thank you for your candor.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Joe, you son of a bitch.
I just one more time, just a quick little Bryant Rizzo catches it.
I mean, that man was literally curled over the bar. Like,
look at him tuck the baseball in too. Just amazing.
That kid just loves baseball.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, hey, you have a fantastic night.
Hey, you too.
Drive home safely, everyone. Thanks for coming on the show, our first nighttime show. It was an honor to have you on, Mike. Have a great night. Everyone have a great night. We will be back Friday with a special guest, Talbot T-Pain Train Kennedy. It's gonna be a blast. Talk to you guys later.